The goal of every nursing student is to write their council exam and pass once. As much as I'm not going to rule out the place of grace when it comes to passing exams, and I'm not going to rule out the place of prayer, as humans there are things that we can do in our own strength to ensure or to better our chances of passing the exam once, and that's what I'm discussing in today's video. Hi, my name is Busari Mulayo. I'm a registered nurse based in Nigeria, and on this channel you're going to find two types of content. One, you find content like this where I talk about nursing because that's my profession and I'm passionate about what I do. You're also going to find videos where I talk about healthcare or health educate females and adolescents or teenagers, young adults on things regarding their health. So in today's video, like I said, I'm going to be discussing tips for nursing students who are about to write their nursing and midwifery council exam, and this video is going to be specifically for those who are writing the Nigerian nursing and midwifery council exam. That's the NMCN exam, because that was the exam that I wrote, and it's in some ways this is quite different from the exams you might write in other countries, though there are some similarities, but the way it is structured may have some differences. So I hope you get. So first, I'm going to be talking about what you should do before the exam and what you should do during the exam. Now, I actually wrote my own exam in 2019. I wrote my RN exam in November 2019, and I think I had my RM in March 2020. And things were quite different then, because then we had majorly objective theory and OSCE. But with the current policy for 2022 exam, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, the council exam is just going to be objective mainly, and they'll have practical as OSCE. So I'm going to be adapting this video to that particular exam. Do you get my point? Okay, so the first thing I'll say is that before the exam you have to start preparing early. Early preparation is one thing that is going to help you as a nursing student, because you can't have your exam next week or next 2 weeks or next 3 weeks and you're not prepared before then, or you just want to start preparing. It's not going to work. And preparation starts from everything you do, right from the day you become a nursing student, because the way the council exam is structured is going to feature all the courses, questions that are going to come from all the courses you've been taught from the beginning of your nursing program till the end of your nursing program. So as much as preparation will start immediately you're a nursing student, there are also some things that you should do specifically to prepare for the exam. And one thing I recommend is having a study plan. Now I already have some prepared study plans for RN and RM. I'm going to leave the link to get each of these books down in the description box below, just in case you need them. The RN is a 3-month study guide in case you want to write the RN exam, while the RM exam is a 1-month study plan. So it consists a list of topics that you can read, when you can read them, just like give you a template to work with in case you don't know how to like plan your study time, or you don't even know the topics to read. So apart from having a study plan, I would also recommend that you start practicing past questions. Now, the advantage that comes with practicing past questions is that most of these textbooks, they were written by people that have experience in marking these exams, you understand? So these are lecturers or nursing tutors that have been marking exams. They know what the council marking guide is looking out for, what they want to see you write, what they want to see you tick. Though this is applicable to theory, which was more like the old system, but as you can also have objective past questions, you also have objective past questions, which I feel you should practice, because there are some things that basically a nursing student or a registered nurse must know, and those are the things that are going to be recurrent in your exams, and it's going to let you have an idea of the forms and the ways the questions may come from, like your multiple choice questions, your regular objective questions, like how they are going to ask the questions, how the questions are going to come, or the format they are going to come in. I hope you get my point. So your past question gives you a basic knowledge, or how do I put it, a background knowledge of what the exam might look like. I hope you get my point. And you are able to score yourself with past questions, because obviously they are going to have questions and answers in those books Example is the success tablet. God, I've forgotten the name of the author. I'm going to put it on the screen. And you also have general nursing, the one we usually call the Green Bible. Yeah, that's what Nigerian students call. You call it the Green Bible, but it's called general nursing, written by Omutade. Yeah, so these books have the questions and the answers, so you keep practicing them to the point that you can even understand, like you really even know the answers to some questions. You don't even need to like go back to your textbook. And one thing about practicing objective questions is that once you miss the question, you can easily go to, let's say the question was on anatomy of the stomach, asking you which part of the stomach is the pylorus, you understand, and you kind of like missed that question. Definitely you're going to go back to the anatomy of the stomach and review it. That way you even know where the greater curvature is, the lesser curvature, you know where the cardiac part is, the is it the also gastroesophageal junction? Yeah, that's it. So you know the part, you know the different parts, the fundus and all of that. It more or less helps you to refresh your memory about that topic, so it gives you like areas that you can read while you're practicing the past questions. I hope you get my point. Another thing I would recommend after practicing past questions is that you should form study groups to read. Now, the essence of forming study groups is that it allows you guys to share knowledge. What student A has read can be passed down to student B, and student B can easily pass down what he or she has read to student A. But you have to be careful when creating study groups so that you gain from the study group and not, you know, more or less lose or miss out from joining a study group. I think I have a video where I spoke about the best way to form a study group. I'm going to put it up here so that you guys can, you know, watch or link it down in the description below if I can link it up there. So the final thing that I would say you should do before the exam is to try to have like a mock exam. Yeah, so in the past I used to have like a mock exam that I used to set for nursing students. Maybe I'll leave the link to that in the description box below. You can just check it out, try it out, and you get your score immediately. It's made in a Google form format. It's like a Google form format, yeah. Or a Google form template, yeah. So you can just try it out. And why I like having mock exam is that it's kind of different from where you are setting past questions. Do you understand? When you're practicing past questions, rather, you already know, you can easily just put the questions and the answers together. There's this soft tension that comes when you're trying to take a mock exam. And one thing about mock is that it gives you something I'll call like a pre-experience. Yeah, like you get to experience some of the emotions you would feel when you're taking an exam, and you can easily organize a mock exam amongst your friends. You can, you know, ask one of your seniors or someone who has probably taken the exam to moderate the exam. The person can get questions from anywhere. You know, you don't even know where the questions are coming from, and you guys just sit. It doesn't really take a lot of money to make photocopies and just answer, and you guys can sit together, you know, exchange your booklets and mark and see areas where you still need to do more work. So mock exam is one thing that you can do before your exam to better your chances of doing well. Now, before I talk about the tips for the day of the exam or when you're actually writing the exam, I would love to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is NJO Nurses. NJO Nurses is an organization that shares relevant information with student nurses and registered nurses, especially if you are planning to migrate or you want to get extra certifications while you're still in Nigeria, your BLS training and all of that. They organize these trainings, and they will also keep you updated about what goes on in the nursing world, both locally and internationally. NJO is on Instagram, they are on Twitter, and they also have a YouTube channel. I am going to link all of them down in the description box below so you can check out their channel. So thank you NJO Nurses for sponsoring this portion of the video. So during the exam, one thing you want to avoid is anything that is going to make you panic, leave you disorganized. So these things or these tips I'm about to drop, very important. Okay, so when you're going to the exam hall, the first thing you want to make sure is that you're going in with all the materials you need. This comes from your ID card or your exam card, going with the proper writing materials, your red pen, your blue pen, your pencil, eraser, ruler. This may seem insignificant until you are told that you cannot borrow pencil to draw a diagram, or you can't borrow pencil to tick something, or you can't borrow pencil to scribble something on your paper, or your pen stops working. If you can go with tools, like double of each, like two pencils, 2 pens, please go with them, because it won't be nice. You know, village people can follow you to the exam or no cap, you know, and your parents suddenly stops working and you can't borrow. Who's going to give you their pen when everybody's trying to like the exam, or who's going to lend you their pencil? It might be nice to see someone that will break it into two for you, but that's going to be very rare. So you want to go in with all the writing materials that you need, your exam card, so you don't get sent back to your hostel to go and look for it. In fact, pack down everything a day or a night before the exam. Make sure you put everything in a place before the morning of the exam, so you don't start running around looking for one thing or the other. Number 2, you need to pay attention to your uniform and your hairstyle. We all know nursing rules, and there is no examiner that is going to allow you to go into the exam if you are not properly dressed. So you have to make sure you are wearing the right color of shoes. If your school says nothing else than black or brown shoe, please, the day before the exam, ensure your shoe is polished and well cleaned, your uniform well ironed, straightened, you understand, your hair well packed. If you have like a bulky hair, you pack everything properly, and if you're low cut, you comb your hair appropriately. You don't wear dangling earrings, like no excessive accessories, you understand, so that you don't get sent out or they tell you to stand outside for 2 minutes for breaking rules, and that might disorganize or destabilize you, you understand. So make sure you're going in properly dressed. Number 3, to avoid being disorganized in exam, make sure you are following the rules. If they say turn the exam paper upside down, don't turn it up yet. Please don't let your village people push you to go and try to spy, because if you are caught, it could be sent out and that could be the end of the exam. So if the examiner says don't check the question yet, probably they are distributing the papers, please don't that urge to quickly check if anatomy of the brain is there or if anatomy of the teeth is there, that urge, resist it for the first 5 to 10 minutes till you are told to start. Follow rules. If you are told not to write on your question paper and you need to write things down, it won't be bad. Like, nobody's going to hold you if you ask for a note where you can scribble down something, because once you start writing on your question paper, you could be penalized for examination malpractice. So please, if you are giving instructions and you don't understand, don't be afraid to ask, because these are things that could get you in trouble during the exam. So the last thing I'm going to say is be careful but don't waste time. Be careful but don't waste time. Since the 2022 exam is going to be majorly objective, it means that you are going to be having to answer a lot of questions. And one thing I know about nursing exam is that the time is never going to be enough, no matter how intelligent you are. The time is never going to, you're always going to be anxious, and you always have to keep checking the time to make sure you're not running late. But so one thing I'm going to say is that be careful in the sense that read your questions properly, read the instructions properly. If you're supposed to tick more than one option, no. If you're not supposed to tick more than one option, no. You understand? If you're supposed to fill in the gap, just know what you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to circle the options, yes. If you're supposed to tick, figure that out. Be careful, read properly and answer, but don't waste time on a question. For example, if you don't know the answer to question 1, you've checked it for a whole minute, you figure that you don't want to, you don't understand that question, or you don't know the answer. Instead of you waiting for the next 5-10 minutes on that same question 1, go to other questions, answer the ones you know first, then you can now come back to the beginning and start trying to like think or figure out the answers to the ones you could not remember immediately. You understand my point? So please be careful but don't waste time. If you want to see my video on tips for OSCE, you can click on this video that is going to pop up on your screen right now. And if you want to see my other videos on nursing tutorials that might help you for your nursing council exam, click on this playlist that is going to pop up on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.